So, welcome to Advanced Motorized. Now, this focuses a lot about the leaders and the drivers and the gunners, not so much of everybody else in the car, but everybody here will be at some point doing one of those slots, so this is a good training for everybody. Now, if you want to switch out driving, switch out gunning, switch out leading during this training, feel free to ask the others in your team. There's something that has been, amiss when we do stuff with our vehicles, and that's basically drivers and leaders and gunners basically acting like headless chickens. You need to have spatial awareness of where you are in the team, and if you're in the front in an intersection, you shouldn't be having your gun pointing to the rear of your team. You should have a gun in that intersection, covering that intersection, for instance. The driver needs to position and talk to the gunner so that the vehicle is placed in good position. Then leaders, you guys need to be very clear of your intention before you get to somewhere, because when you do an emergency stop, for instance, you don't autocorrect because half your guys will be killed as they are exiting the vehicle, etc. Sounds good? So be leaders, you have to be really clear about your intentions. Just remind everybody, even the driver, that, well, we're the front vehicle, so we're gonna, in an emergency stop, we're going right. Now that's the default layout. If the car in front of you start emergency brake left, where the hell do you emergency brake then? Yeah, you go right. So it's basically whatever the team in front of you do, you do opposite. But the default layout is front right. That's the default layout. Now there might be times where, as we're going to see later, where the terrain dictates differently, but we're coming back to that. Is there a reason why do we say that the front vehicle go either or? Short answer. Anyone?
Basically, the vehicle in front is the one that will have an idea of what's up close ahead, and that will be the biggest factor in turning left instead of right.
Yep. And the fact that he actually do either or means that he's reacting to something. The important stuff that he actually does something, either go right, left or right. You want to have enough space around your vehicle for you guys to open the doors, get out, help support the vehicle. The vehicles aren't as tough as they are with MRAPs, so they need basically everybody out that is necessary. Normally the driver would stay in for the purpose of this training today. Since we are so few, the drivers are stepping out. Normally the drivers would step out last and only if needed. But since we are a three-man team today, and this goes also if you are three men in the car, the driver takes a much more active role. Yeah. So first about the vehicles. They are not bullet-proof, they're bullet resistance. So that means, driver, if you stay in, there's a good chance you're going to get shot. Now, if you guys step back here, I'll show you something. Now, when you have a backpack on, it's very hard to get, very easy to get stuck in here, not being able to turn. So we've decided that once the driver step out and the front right passengers step out, you're going to step into the back. That means whoever stepped up here was in the back seat. He'll be kneeling down doing this. When the driver steps out, the driver communicates this clearly. I'm stepping out, even using the short range. So you will be, if you're Alpha 1, right, you say A1 driver stepping out. That's how simple it is. And the other guy will then just, have to pay attention and acknowledge it, at least on voice. Now that means, don't shoot while he's stepping out. Now when the driver steps out, basically go to the rear. And you do like this. Any questions? It's the same for the other side.
Yes.
What's the question?
What is Mahoja covering? Like, what part? His right shoulder seems to be a bit hard to shoot at. But seriously?
It means that I can duck in if things get hot. But
Yes.
there is that thing that in Arma we hold our rifles on the right all the time and we can't switch to the left side.
You can.
You can.
By left leaning, right?
No.
You do the like the there's a there's a
Like
switch
this.
to the right
Yeah,
side.
the left leaning.
Yep.
But
Yep.
then you're left leaning.
No, the
No.
left stepping with control.
Yeah, you are. But then you're also not standing up, right? I don't think it's.
Oh,
it's
you
also
can
possible in
you can do
crouch.
it
You
in
can.
crouch.
Yeah.
So try it again.
Yeah.
But then you're leaning. So okay. that
Not
works.
just you can do both things.
You can do
Yeah, but
both at the
Lean
same
and
time.
hold it in the left hand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So don't lean. Just
Okay.
have it in your.
How
Just
do you
step.
do that?
Well, Control A.
Control and A, yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm leaning.
And then Q. No, you're not.
Just
Then Q.
stance left stance. And now you're left stancing and leaning.
Well, it's kind of leaning, right? It's,
It
it's
makes
okay
a
when
huge
it's
difference
crouched.
when taking cover, and your gun it should be on your left side. If you have a look at Mahuja, when he's holding his rifle on the right or left hand, and leaning, it makes a huge difference in the target that he presents. He can still
Okay,
shoot his
you-
legs, but
Could you do
Change to your
a?
left side. He's still having it on the right side.
yeah.
No,
There you
it's
go.
on the left side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't lean. Just have it. There you go. And that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
So, but that's just practice for something else, okay? So, any questions to why we use the both doors, for instance?
Why?
The first door is bullet resistance. When the bullet passes through that, it breaks up, and it can't possibly, even in the 50 cal mode, pass through the second door.
Okay.
Can we try it?
We have
The
tried it.
normal rounds.
We have tried.
So we should you, and see if it hits you.
It's
Why
already
not?
been tested, so I'm telling you how it is. Any questions?
Yes. It would seem to me a bit simpler to just take over behind the car.
Yeah. So this is an emergency stop, and you need to bring up arms into the front to whatever is shooting at you. You're securing the vehicle. This is not a the standard layout for moving. This is an extra. Okay, step over here.
Woohoo!
Oh,
So,
it speaks.
Yeah. So, the reason we have the door open is that we have a wider front to present. It's easier to control where you are. You have the option of being there, you have the option of being in the back. When you move forward, you have more protections against, bullets coming your way. You have more options as to present your weapons to the front. And you have, double protections in the door. Any more questions? Okay, let's move on. Now, using this vehicle in this way is only in Q speed. Anything faster than that, and everybody should be in the vehicle and the door should be closed. So, our most valuable asset on this vehicle is the 50 cal. So the proper usage of that is very important. we basically have designated zones as we have in otherwise. So if you are on the right side and in the front, you cover in front. If you are in the second vehicle and go left, you will then, it's natural for you to cover left, and the third vehicle, for instance, will be covering right. Sometimes you only have 2 guns or 1 gun, then you have to be a little bit more active. At that point, everybody in the vehicle is, if you're stopping, everybody step out, have the door open, you can help out with security. So it's vitally important that everybody in the vehicle is doing their thing. If you're the leader, don't be too occupied with sitting in the vehicle or just looking at maps or trying to figure out what's going on. You also have to participate and cover your sector. Yeah. So let's see here. If you see this crest over here.
Yep.
Now, let's say you're moving up there with a vehicle in a convoy. And there's something I'm going to come back to afterwards, but you're basically in a mode we call, danger close, or you're expecting hostiles at any corner. At that point, you will be doing a slow rolling over danger areas. That means could be around in an intersection, around the building corner, over a crest. And especially over crest, it's important that the driver slows down so the gunner, which is on the top, has time to react to anything in front of him. You don't stop. You don't want to, you don't want to procrastinate. You don't want to take too long, basically. So when you come up to, you have moving speed, normal moving speed. When you're up to way closer to the crest, and you just announce as a driver over the radio that you're slowing down. And since the second vehicle in the rear of you will hear this, he will have time to brake as well. And you should just announce slowing down for crest. Then the gunner needs to be really active in telling the driver that, well, I've seen enough, you can move on. And there's one word that is super simple. It's called clear. Should cover everything. And the second word is, stop or halt. If you see something. That means only the top of your vehicle is visible to the enemy, the gun tether. Another thing we need to remember is when we're driving, we're going to showcase examples later, is basically placement of the vehicle as driver. Now this goes particularly to the drivers. When you're coming up to, let's say you're driving down the road, you come into a turn in the road, which is going right, and you have a crest going up on the right side. That means you have a blind side on the right. Now, at that point, you turn your vehicle, or you move your vehicle to the left side of the road. Because if you are on the right side, it will take longer for you to detect anything on the other side, and you will have no movement capability. If you are on the left side of the road in this particular example, you will detect whatever's on the other side of that crest around the corner faster, and you can tell your driver to do an emergency right, for instance, and stop. And that way you could maybe get the vehicle out of line of sight from a BMP, IFV, tank, etc. So this also comes to what kind of mode you are in. You have something called a transport mode. At that point, you're going really fast. You're going fast to avoid incoming fire, but it's an unsafe mode of travel, and you utilize only in situations where you feel confident that you're not gonna meet an enemy around the next intersection. If you are expecting an enemy around the next intersection, you're going slow. you're then in combat mode. So there's two types of mode. There's transport mode and there's combat mode. Transport is fast and combat is, well, you move fast up to just like anything else, you move fast up to an intersection, up to a corner of a wall, up to a crest, up to a corner that is blind, all this stuff, and then you slow down so that your gunner basically have time to identify targets, maybe do emergency callouts, etc. For the rest of the cars in the vehicle, remember leaning, all this stuff will assist you in being able to see more and see more out the windows, and that will something you should try out. See if you can find the best position for you to look at. If you have track AR and supported by leaning or using double alt, for instance, that will also support you in being able to look out the windows. Yes, and there's also the third option or third thing that influences how you react to dangers is basically what is your order? Are you on push through? Are you on, stop and react? This is also kind of important. Do you push through a tank? This is a simple question, yes or no.
What was
That's
the
a hard
question?
question.
Do you push through on a tank? If there's an enemy tank, do you push
Probably
through?
not.
Yeah. Let's scale it down to enemy IFV with a autocannon. Do you still push through?
No.
No. Basically, push through is for when you engage something like infantry, where you have a moderate chance of getting unscathed away. An autocannon or a tank, all this stuff, it will rip you apart. That is not a push through mode. So you might be able to get safely through, but then your ass is exposed to that thing. But the rest of the column, they are basically dead. So when you're driving as the first vehicle, you have to think of yourself as a train. Will my whole train be able to pass through this danger in push through mode? If not, you're stopping. And that goes to the leader, the driver, the gunner. All those people are participating in making that decision. Questions for that? So, to sum up, we have combat and transport mode. We have push through or not. And then we have the mission parameters. Okay, let's take it to the field.